Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you're watching me from. My name is Dr. Obioramba Iboweze, reaching you from Nkolo, Mahadum. Today's date is Oye or Orie, Market Day, in the 8th month of the Igbo lunar calendar called Onwa Ilomo, and in the Roman Catholic calendar, today's date is 9/20/2024. At Nkolo Mahadum, we package lectures and present it to you from Biafran and African perspective. We package lectures that concern you so that you can make better decisions. You can understand the world you live in order to make Africa better. And the title of our today's lecture is "The World is Not Democratic." If you look at what is going on at the United Nations, all the way to many countries that are practicing monarchical system of government, and in most African countries, you find imposed, copied democratic system, foreign copied, imposed democratic systems. And so the world is not democratic in this sense. The United Nations Security Council is a very big eye-opener in our last lecture, where we learned that the 5 countries with permanent membership of the Security Council were those that won the war. Countries like United States, United Kingdom, France, Russia, and China. They are the ones that won the Second World War. And then they created this United Nations and the Security Council. And they have permanent membership and veto power. And we concluded in the last lecture that it's not fair. It's not fair at all. And so where we are running the world like that, a place called, supposed to be for everybody, the United Nations supposed to be where you supposed to have democracy. Why didn't they make it that it's going to be by votes? Whatever we are doing, every country is equal by number. If democracy is by number, why are they not counting all countries as equal? Why should a particular country have permanent membership and veto power? A veto power where if one says no, that no is what the world will follow. That tells you that the world is not democratic. Also, as of 2024, there are 43 sovereign states with monarch as head of state. You have 13 in Asia, 12 in Europe, 9 in Americas, 6 in Oceania, and 3 in Africa. And the 3 you have in Africa include Morocco, Lesotho, and Swaziland. And in Europe, who are the ones imposing their democracy on you? They're imposing democracy on you. Even in Europe, you have 12 monarchies there. And I will mention the 12 monarchies you have in Europe. It includes Andorra, Belgium, Denmark, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Monaco, Netherlands, Norway, Spain, Sweden, United Kingdom, and Vatican City. All of them are monarchs. And in monarchs, the king or queen is the head of government. in monarchy system, monarchical system of government, the king or queen is the head of government. And before we continue, we have to beg you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Like our program, comment, and most importantly, share. Share it to everyone, because Nkola Mahadum Wisdom University is for everybody. We organize lectures that you're supposed to know and present it to you from the eagle eye of a Biafran and an African. How decisions made outside, or the mistakes you're making in our land, is resulting to continuous failures and failures and failures. That's why all governments should come to Nkola Mahadum Wisdom University to follow all our lectures and implement our recommendations for the betterment of all of us. And so, continuing, we want to let you know that in monarchy, there's one you call absolute monarchy. In absolute monarchy, you don't have no constitution or legislators. It's just whatever the leader says, the head of government says, that was goes. And countries that have absolute monarchy are the Vatican City, Brunei, Eswatini, Oman, Saudi Arabia. All have absolute monarchy. The rest have what they call constitutional or parliamentary monarchy. But whatever you call it, it is still the king or the queen that are making the decisions. So the question now is, in Africa, where we are mainly concerned, why do we accept all these imposed democratic systems and structures which benefits the colonial masters? They use it to impose their puppets, who ensures continuous exploitation of our people and our resources. Why should we be using a democratic system that is alien, that is not from our ancestors, that is imposed from outside? Why must it be imposed? The one being practiced in the United States was founded by the people of America. The one being used in the United Kingdom was founded by the people of UK, Japan, Malaysia. Even Malaysia is the only country with rotational monarchy, because that is what they want. That's what suits them. Most of this monarchy form of government rests in the family. Most of them rest in the family. But in Malaysia, they rotate the kingship. They rotate the leadership. And so, why should Africa continue to copy and use a democratic system that is not from their ancestors? That is what worries. That's what worries us at Nkola Mahadum. Why should we continue to use a foreign imposed democracy which is not even helping us? And therefore, Nkola Mahadum Wisdom University is making the following recommendations for African countries and other countries that are using colonial, foreign imposed democracies. Number one is to dismantle all the colonial boundaries. As we have be mentioning in our closing remarks. Dismantle all the colonial boundaries that was created by colonial masters. If we Africans cannot go to Europe and say, you are this country, you are this country, why should we continue to use a system in our land created by colonial masters, those who are exploiting us? And therefore, number 2 is to eradicate all the colonial structures. Many don't know that the local government system we are using, the state system, the country boundaries we have, they call country, is a creation of the colonial masters. You should eradicate them and then replace them. The third suggestion is for you now to replace the colonial structures with villages, towns, and communities. Use villages, use towns, use communities as administrative centers. That will cost all this cost being wasted in the local government, in the state, and in the federal. Localize the government system. Very, very, very important that we do that in Africa. And then the fourth thing we should do is to remove the colonial system of running the countries. Remove the colonial system of running Africa. Replace it with what we still have in my village. The Republican democracy of our ancestors that we have in my village. We still have Okolo Ibom. We still have Otu Oliora. We still have Ndi Ichie. These are the 3 arms of government in my village. And that's the 3 arms of government that our ancestors set up for our own democratic government. And it works. It works. There's no corruption in it. There's no election in it. It is by appointment based on your abilities. And it works much, much better than what we have right now. And so you have the same thing in your communities. That's what we should be using. And then reject IMF and World Bank loans. IMF and World Bank loans are what they are using to keep you poor, to keep Africans poor. Why are you borrowing money? Reduce consumption of foreign goods. Cut your coat according to your size. Don't consume what you don't produce. It is very, very, very important that you adhere to these suggestions from Nkola Mahadum. If not, we shall continue to be dependent on the colonial masters and they continue to exploit us. And because we want to keep everything short at Nkola Mahadum, we shall be closing our lectures, making it very, very short so that you can listen to it, because there's no time to waste. And what you have to take away from today's lecture is that the world we live in is not democratic. If you check from the United Nations Security Council, how it is set up by people who won the war, they are the one making the rules. They are giving permanent membership and veto power. And then if you go across the world, there are so many monarchs around the world, 43 of them being ruled by monarchs, not democracy, not the type of democracy they are bringing to us in Africa. And in Africa, you have about 3 of them, which is Morocco, Lesotho, and Swaziland. And then even the Europe that many of us are copying, they also have 12 monarchs there. Andorra, Belgium, Denmark, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Monaco, Netherlands, Norway, Spain, Sweden, UK, and Vatican City. And so why should we continue to use imposed democracy that is alien to us, that we don't know the source, we don't know how to use it? People are just telling us, do this, do this. How long shall we continue with this? People telling us what to do, while we have our own. We have the one left behind by our ancestors, which is still in place. It's still in place. That's what we should go back to. And then dismantle all the colonial boundaries, eradicate all the colonial structures, decentralize government to the family, the villages, towns, and communities. That's where you should centralize the administration of government, because it's cheaper, because it's less corrupt, because it's more productive. It will give us faster development. And then use existing structures in our land, the one that we know, the one that was left by our ancestors. Like in my village, we have Okoloibom, we have Otuoliora, and then Indiche. You have the same thing in your village too. You have the same thing in your town. We should go back to those things. And then reject IMF loan and World Bank loans. Reject them. What are you requesting the loan for? Cut your coat according to your size. Cut down, reduce consumption. Cut down on consumption of what you don't have. Cut down on foreign goods, so that you will be debt-free. And with this, we shall bring in today's lecture to an end. But before we end it, we have to advise you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Like our program, share it, comment, so that we know how you're feeling. And finally, like we have said, dismantle all the colonial boundaries in Africa, so that Africa will be completely free from colonial exploitation and interferences. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Obiora Mba Ibobeze. Thank you, sir. Have a good one.